Thank you all for coming tonight. Last time we had Candace Davenport as our moderator, and she did a great job, and we wish she was doing it today again, but she wasn't sure she could get here on time, mother of 3 children. So here I am, and I'll be the 3rd female moderator in the recent past, and I'll have my phone here to fact check any of your answers. Be careful. I do want to emphasize that about the tickets that Janie is selling for the November 17th affair, which is a fundraiser for Ryan Burbank. Eric Burbank has been a member of our organization for as long as I can remember. And even when he moved to a different area, he told us, whenever you need me, just let me know. And we've let him know several times, and he's always there, including with Ryan at times. So we hope that you will, even if you can't go, that you will buy a ticket. Janie has some with her, and also the closest place in this area is Fringe Hair Salon to buy tickets. Otherwise, they're being sold in the village. I forget, where are the 2 places, Janie?
Town Hall and Highland Place, Liberty.
Right, okay, so I hope that everyone will chip in for this, because it's a really important situation. Let's see, there were a few things I wanted to mention. One was, if you're not a member, and you don't have to live in the Hilton area to be a member, but if you'd like to join us, we have membership forms in the back, and you can fill one out and see me later, or just take one home. If you become a member, you get a monthly newsletter, and you help support our organization. We use the membership money to pay for the printing and mailing of our newsletter, and as you heard from Aline today, we make donations to local organizations and needy families. So if you want to join, you're welcome to. I think that is all. We do want to mention that about the November 17th date. And now we'll get started. This is the format that we use. First of all, we'll start with a 2-minute opening statement from each candidate. And I want to thank everyone for coming tonight at the table here. 1.5 minutes for responding to each of the prepared questions. About 15 minutes for questions from the floor after the formal forum, and 2 minutes for closing statements from each person. We're lucky to have our usual timer, Florence Magyar, who's sitting in the front, and she will hold up a 15-second warning so that our candidates can see how much time they have left. So we'll start, we try to alternate who we start with. So we will start with Art for the opening statement. 2 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Art Gardenlove, and I'm running for one of the 2 seats for Maplewood Township Committee. I first wish to thank the Hilton Neighborhood Association for inviting me to participate, as well as encouraging me to attend. Thank you. I particularly want to thank the person who designed the promotional flyer for putting those initials R and D after each of our names. That way everybody knows in advance which candidate is reasonable and which candidates are decent. It's true. I am running under the Republican banner, and for the past 20 years, as I'm confident most of you recognize, that banner has been a sure path to defeat in our local election process. But that is just the point. National politics has no place in local elections, and our municipal government is not dependent upon political parties, nor should our township committee in any way attempt to influence national policies. Its sole responsibility is the oversight and management of the Maplewood quality of life and financial responsibilities. As a fiscal conservative, I recognize that the township committee is under enormous pressure to meet community needs within ever-increasing financial constraints. Although I often support the township committee's positions, I believe that many of their decisions would be benefited by the consideration of alternative, creative ideas and methodologies for the implementation and cost management of day-to-day operations. I submit that there is no Republican or Democratic way to fill a pothole. However, I'm sure that together we can find a variety of responsible alternative means for the management and funding of just about any project. As a longtime resident, I care about Maplewood, and I'm committed to the proposition that when elected, I will be a voice for all Maplewoodians. My votes will be based on facts, not on personal bias or political ideology, for what I believe is in the best interest of Maplewood's residents. For the past 20 years, the vast majority of Township Committee decisions have been voted on unanimously, and I recognize that my one vote will not change the majority opinion. However, I ask for your vote so that this is the first time in a generation of Maplewoodians, voices will be heard from the perspective of a native-born, locally active, community-minded Maplewoodian who will fairly represent the many and varied views of our citizens.
Thank you, Art. And now Kathy, please.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Hilton Neighborhood
Yeah,
Association.
and I just want to excuse me, but make sure you speak really well into the microphone because we are trying to tape this. Careful.
Am I coming through?
Okay, now you can hear me. I'd like to thank the Hilton Neighborhood Association for its tradition in sponsoring this debate, having the candidates come out and let you know why we're running and hear your questions. I'd also like to thank you for coming out. This is quite a sized audience tonight. And I'd like to thank my running mate, Jerry Ryan, and also thank Art Gottenlob for opening this up. It's been an honor to serve you. I have been serving 9 years and am asking for your vote for another term. I have been in Maplewood for 23 years and have spent all of those years actually volunteering. Excuse me, I started with neighborhood association creation with president of the Civic Association, the chair of the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, president of the League of Women Voters, and various other activities that led me to realize that I loved this town and I loved working with the people in the town. There's no place like Maplewood. On January 1st, our mayor, in his address to the community, said that Maplewood has come to a sweet spot. And I think that there's a lot to that. We had a very, very hard time a few years back making the budget work. We had layoffs, we had furloughs, we did some dramatic cutting. And that has, as hard as that was, it has gotten us to a place where we are holding taxes lower than almost every other community in New Jersey. In fact, 1 or 2 years ago, we raised them 0%. We are redeveloping. We are moving ahead with open space funding. So I would like to ask you for your vote come November 6th.
Thank you. Jerry?
Thanks, Karen. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all very much for taking time out of your evening to come out and listen to this debate. I appreciate so many faces here, so many familiar faces and some new faces as well. I think it speaks well of the town, and it speaks well of the Neighborhood Association for going to the trouble to sponsor this. I appreciate it very much. My name is Jerry Ryan. I am running for re-election to the Maplewood Township Committee with my running mate, Kathy Leventhal. I have lived in Maplewood since 1985. I've lived in a bunch of different places in town. I raised 3 children in town, all of whom are adults, at least in theory, or on paper, they're adults. I've also had the great good fortune for most of the last 21 years to be able to serve as a member of the Maplewood Township Committee and a member of the Maplewood Planning Board, and to be involved in a lot of important things in the civic life of this community. It's something that I really enjoy very much, and it's a record of service that I'm very proud of. As a member of the Township Committee, I'm proud of the work that we've done to try and control costs, to keep our tax increases as low as possible, to make reasonable, judicious decisions about investing in the future of our community. And I'm very proud of that record, and I'm happy to talk to you about it at length. I appreciate the opportunity to spend time this evening answering your prepared questions and taking questions from the floor. I hope that you will listen carefully and think about your choice that you have to make on Election Day, and that you'll consider re-electing Kathy and I to Township Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll start with the questions, where you have 1.5 minutes for responding to each question. And Florence will hold up a little sign to tell you how much time you have left. So we'll start with Kathy this time. And the first question is about housing. It seems that housing is being built around town. What is the big picture? How many new residents can we absorb in our community with regard to school space, automobile traffic, parking, etc.?
Okay, well, I'll start by mentioning that we expect to have about 130 units of housing on board by the end of next year. That encompasses the project on Donnell, on Burnett, and they've also started working on Boyden Avenue over by Jacoby. So with this, of course, comes the people that we're concerned about being able to serve and keep safe without burdening our community too much. Back in 2009, we had experts from Rutgers University come to talk to us because of our concern in redeveloping areas of Maplewood and the number of school children especially that might come in to live here. And the numbers are extremely low. With this housing that's projected over the next actually couple of years, we're talking about a full 190 units, we're only expecting 10 school-age children. Now there's reasons for that. Well, first of all, it's just a certain age group, but there may be younger children, but the children are not the bulk of the people that will be coming to these small apartments. Thank you. This is housing for young professionals, young people, and for seniors. In fact, the Burnett Street housing is going to be marketed first to Maplewood seniors. Thank you.
Okay, Jerry?
There are a couple of interesting and exciting development projects going on in town, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for Maplewood to take properties that have been non-performing properties or properties that have been publicly owned and are now privately owned, get them on the tax rolls, and get some new people into town. Experts tell us that having folks in apartments near our business district generates people who are going to walk to our business district and they're going to patronize our businesses. There is a great demand for apartments in our community. There's a demand for starter homes of people who don't have children, for people, like myself, who, you've downsized out of a big house, you don't have little children in your house anymore, but it'd be nice to stay in Maplewood because you really come to love it and you really want to stay. I think that the fact that we have those opportunities that we can provide to folks who live here now and potential new residents is a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the business districts as well. And South Orange has done some similar things, and we have some direct evidence that a big project like Gaslight Commons doesn't contribute a lot of extra children to the school district at all. So I think we don't really need to worry that might happen here in Maplewood. The township looks very closely and very judiciously and very carefully at all new projects to make sure that there's appropriate parking and adequate parking, that there's appropriate traffic flows, and that there's not a negative impact of a new project on our community. So I'm confident that the results that we're going to see are going to be good, and I'm excited about the positive impact on the town.
Thank you. And Art?
Thank you. Coincidentally, with your 130 new development units, there happen to be about 130 houses right now that are listed for sale. So between the two of them, I'm thinking that probably there's going to be more of an impact than we had originally anticipated. Average home in Maplewood has 2.9 people, which means that there's one child in most of the houses. So I'm thinking that probably there's going to be more of an impact than than originally anticipated.